Greetings, guzzlers, and welcome back to another episode of Ben Buys Beverages. Today is June, 27, 2026. And have I got a wonderful beer for y'all. But before I tell you, like, subscribe, other buttons you need to hit to always get my videos when I drop them. And I try to do that every weekend. But weekends are broad, so that's like Thursday through Sunday time frame. Anyhow, you don't really care. What you do care about is this, the beer. And what we have is Frankenhammer. Bum, bum. Frankenhammer is a Belgian-style dark ale, 9.2% alcohol, out of Huntsville, Alabama, Yellowhammer Brewing. Frankenhammer. And it's got this cool cardboard thingy. It's not plastic, it's cardboard. I like that. Very conscious. I'm sitting in our new chairs. There was an estate sale on the rich person street in our neighborhood that we attended. And we got a new table as well as 8 chairs for it for a very, very reasonable price. So I'm excited. So this is a celebratory beer. A beer which, by the way, came from Cottage Hill Package Store, of course. All right. From the back, it says, Frankenhammer good. Released from its cage every October, this Belgian-style dark ale has notes of stone fruits, a complex malt backbone, and a dark ruby hue. It pairs well with stormy nights and classic horror stories. Well, we have neither of those going on, because right now here in southern Alabama, it's 90-something degrees out, but the heat index is 100 and something. You know, low hundreds, like not even 110, but way up there. So I'll probably start sweating halfway through this video. And I learned last night, if a glass has a stem, it's to hide the gross, nasty fingerprints, like the ones you see on this glass. So, sorry, Father. Anyhow, let's pour this up. It's looking more brown than ruby, but that's okay, because it looks delicious. Just the way a Belgian ale should look. Maybe when it's all in the glass. Oh, it is coming in a little ruby there once it's all together in the glass. I like that. I smell it faintly. And it smells wonderful. It smells a little sweet, a little cherry. That's pretty good. Now, it might be better if it were colder. I've only had it in the fridge about an hour, but I'm incredibly impatient and incredibly thirsty. So, it's got a little sharp taste. I bet this would be great with cheese. It's not really. I think I might taste coffee. Why do I taste? I didn't even have coffee this morning, so that's extra weird. But enjoyable. So I'm going to say 8 out of 10. This is a tasty beer, and now I'm going to start talking. Now, Frankenhammer is obviously a reference to the Mary Shelley book Frankenstein, and subsequently the great and wonderful movie Young Frankenstein with Gene Wilder. Written by Mel Brooks. And if you've not seen it, you really should. It's well worth it. But, yeah. And so since the movie, the plot line involves, you know, this scientist cobbling together different body parts from different folks, as well as a brain donated by a person named Abby Normal, to create a living being, to give it life. I can only imagine that this beer is actually cobbled together from the remains of several other beers, all mixed together like I'm 12 years old at a soda machine, and it gives you all those buttons, and I'm just mixing everything because that's how I am. But and it's a solid book. You should give it a read if you've not done so, and definitely go watch Young Frankenstein. But today is also free RPG day, which means that while I was out buying beer, I also stopped by the game store to pick up my free RPGs stuff. And by that, I do not mean free rocket-propelled grenades. If you want some free rocket-propelled grenades, well, you have several options. One, you can join the U.S. military. They've raised their age to 42 and lowered other standards. And so, as an added bonus, they have, that lets them meet the recruiting goals. Lower the bar, more people get in. Yay! You could also join the French Foreign Legion. You just run off to France, knock on one of their doors, and you have to be no older than 39 and a half years. I did some research before this video. I was thinking, I was planning. Alternatively, you could join the Peace Corps, because in many of the places they end up at, it turns out people don't like it when you help out the underprivileged. So they may encounter some free rocket-propelled grenades being launched at them. But the best spot to get your very own free RPGs, rocket-propelled grenades, is to volunteer in Ukraine, be it at the front lines as one of the their version of the Foreign Legion helping out there, or any number of other volunteers. And ironically, did you know that starting back in the year 2014, the Ukrainians have been referring to the Russians as orcs, as in Tolkien's orcs. And of course, Putin takes on the role of Sauron. It's because orcs are, I quoted here, are inhumanly wicked and brutal. And just like the Russian invaders and the Russian civilians who support them. Which brings us all back to RPGs, role-playing games. It's free role-playing game day. And I scored. Let me have another sip and I'll show you what I got. And I didn't get it all because I didn't want it all, plus that's greedy. So good, so good. All right. Now, first up, I got a thick compilation here from Level 1. And this is a mix of very short role-playing games. And I'll just read the back. It says, stand up. In interesting times, the hardest thing to do sometimes is just to stand up. Different designers took on the theme this year. So there's games in this little thin book here, some going straight forward, making games about comedy and comedians and the gig economy. Others went deeper with games about using art to resist tyranny, fight oppression, and standing up to difficult and complicated situations. Everyone brought their A game to their game. And now we give it to you for the 7th annual volume in their series. I'm going to have to see if I can track down the other 6. I love compilations. It's like an anthology of short stories. But yeah, I briefly flipped through this before making the video. And one of the games, you play the literal Keystone Cops, chasing equally ridiculous criminals. All right, what else did I get? Something a little bit more traditional. I got From Here to There, an old school hex crawl. And what a hex crawl is they give you a map drawn on hexes, and then they populate each hex. As you move around and you explore them in game, you encounter whatever is there. Be it, wild animals, interesting locations like a bell tower or a ruins, or maybe there's monsters later. Oh, you found a dragon. So anyhow, I got this. I love hex crawls. I picked up also Terror in Tortuga. This is for the game Pirate Borg, and it included a quick start rules. And what this is, you're pirates down in Tortuga in the fantasy dark Caribbean, having all sorts of misadventures as only fantasy pirates can do. I got There's No Place Like Homebrew, which is just a whole mix of random game worlds, it looks like, that you could incorporate into your games, or more likely, just steal the ideas to claim as your own for your own personal games. All right, and the last item I picked up is for the game DCC, or Dungeon Crawl Classics. It's Pretenders to the Rat King's Throne, and this is an adventure. And for those who don't know, that Rat King has shown up in a couple other adventures, so hence the reference. Anyhow, so free RPGs, I'm going to have lots of links down below, both to RPGs as well as ways you can volunteer if you so see fit. And anyhow, that's all I got. And I told you, I'm sweating because it's warm out. Cheers!